Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel, the Bronson Sky Library. So something about me is that I really like to read middle grade fantasy and just middle grade fiction in general. And so today I really wanted to share some of my favorite middle grade fantasy books with you guys in case either you want to pick some middle grade books up and you just don't know where to start, or you already read middle grade and you want just more books to read. Or if you just don't like middle grade books at all, and these are suggestions for you to get into them because you should like middle grade. But yeah, that's what the video is going to be today, so I guess we'll just jump right on into the recommendations. So the first book that I want to recommend is the Five Kingdoms series by Brandon Mull. So I loved his Fablehaven series when I was younger. It was basically my childhood, and I absolutely love Brandon Mull as a writer. I mean, Fablehaven isn't probably the best written middle grade series ever out there, but it was really fun. The magic was cool, the world was really cool, and so I absolutely loved it. And because I loved it, and because it was one of my favorite series growing up, my parents got me this series when I was like 22. I think I got it for Christmas, and I read this series, and it was amazing. I absolutely loved it. It was so much fun, and I loved seeing the growth of Brandon Mull's writing from Fablehaven to this series. I thought he got exceptionally better, and this series was so fun. So, what this book is about, I'm going to read the back of it because I'm really terrible at explaining what books are about, so I'm just going to read the synopsis on the back for you. So it says, Cole Randolph is just trying to have fun with his friends on Halloween, but their trip to a neighborhood haunted house turns out to be the start of a wild adventure when Cole watches his friends being whisked away through a mysterious passage. Cole dives in after them, only to emerge somewhere that's very clearly no longer Mesa, Arizona. He soon learns he's come to a place called the Outskirts. Made up of 5 kingdoms, the Outskirts lies between wakefulness and dreaming, reality and imagination, life and death. The balance of power in the 5 kingdoms has been upset, and the magic there is becoming unstable. It's up to Cole and an unusual girl named Mira to set things right, rescue his friends, and hopefully survive long enough for Cole to find his way back home. So yeah, what the back said is that this magical world that Cole ends up jumping into to rescue his friends has 5 kingdoms associated within this world, and each kingdom has its own magical powers, and it's really fun. The adventure that they go on is really fun. I don't know what else to say other than it's really fun. I think something that's really cool about this is that when they jump into this world, people in the real world forget who they are. It's really fun. It's really cool to see all of this happen. I think what Brandon Mull created was very unique and interesting, and I really liked each magic system in each world, and I loved exploring that within each world. So yeah, I don't know, this is just a really fun series, and it's really fun for both adults and kids. I mean, I do think it might be a little bit more fun for kids, but if you're like me who just really likes middle grade in general, I'm pretty sure you would enjoy this series. And if you liked Fablehaven, you would like this too. I think it's really cool. But yeah, that's what this book is. It's really fun, really cool, really unique, and something I will say, I think this has one of the best endings to a book series that I have ever read. It is probably my favorite ending to a series. It's very, very bittersweet, and that's all I'll say. I just think you guys should read this series. It's really fun. And then the next book that I want to talk about is Princess Academy by Shannon Hale. So this is technically a trilogy of books, but I don't think it was necessarily planned to be that way at first. She just ended up writing a couple more books after it. So you could definitely read this book as a standalone if you want, if you don't want to go onto the trilogy. I liked the second 2 books, but I think the first one is where it just exceeds. The second and the third book are still really good, but Princess Academy by Shannon Hill is really, really good. The writing is absolutely stunning. I have always loved Shannon Hill's writing. It's just, I don't know. I've read her Goose Girl series, the Bayern books, and those are really good. The writing is absolutely beautiful, like I mentioned, but particularly in this, especially since it's a middle grade book, I think her writing is exceptional, and it's not too hard for younger kids to read, but it's still giving adults beautiful writing. I don't know how else to explain it other than that. But anyway, what this book is about, let me read you the synopsis. Okay. High on the slopes of Mount Escol, Muri's family has lived forever, pounding a meager living from the stone of the mountain itself. Muri dreams of working alongside the others in the quarry, but she has never been allowed to work there. Perhaps, she thinks, because she is so small. Then word comes from the lowlands. The king's priests have divined that the prince's bride-to-be, the next princess, will come from Mount Escol. The prince himself will travel to the village to choose his bride, but first all eligible girls must attend a makeshift academy to prepare for royal lowlander life. At the school, Muri finds herself confronting both bitter competition among the girls and her own conflicted desires to be chosen. Yet when danger comes to the academy, it is Muri, named for a tiny mountain flower, who must find a way to save her classmates, and the chance for the future that each of them is eager to secure as her own. So yeah, what this book is basically about, it's about these girls from this village get put into this princess academy to learn to become a princess. And so the story takes place mostly in that academy, and things go down in that academy, and it's really fun and it's really cool, and I really, really like how it's just a book with a bunch of girl characters, and I think this, and I'm not saying it's just for girls to read, like boys can read this book too, but I just love how much girl power there is in this book, and I think a lot of girls would be able to relate well to this. So I don't know, I think this is really fun, and I think this has, again, such beautiful, exceptional writing that I think anyone can enjoy. And it was also a Newbery Honor book, because of how brilliant writing this is. I don't know, I just really enjoyed it, and I think a lot of people would too. I can't recommend this one enough. It was really impactful. And the magic's cool too. So, yeah. Alright, and then the next book that I want to talk about is Willa of the Wood by Robert Beatty. So, Robert Beatty is the same author that wrote the Serafina series, and this book takes place within that world, that same world. It doesn't have any of the Serafina characters, at least, I don't know. I don't know if Willa is in that series or not, because I haven't actually read the Serafina series, but I know that a lot of people love the Serafina series, and so if you like the Serafina series, then you'd probably absolutely like this. But what this book is about, again, I will read the flap for you. So, it says, Willa, a young night spirit of the Great Smoky Mountains, is her clan's best thief. She creeps into the homes of dayfolk under cover of darkness and takes what they won't miss. It's dangerous work. The dayfolk will kill whatever they do not understand. But Willa will do anything to win the approval of the Padaran, the charismatic leader of the Farron people. When Willa's curiosity leaves her hurt and stranded in the day world, she calls upon an ancient, unbreakable bond to escape. Only then does she discover the truth. Not all day folk are the same, and the magical foundations that have guarded the Farron for eons are under attack. As forces of unfathomable destruction encroach on her home, Willa must decide who she truly is. To save the dayfolk family that has become her own, and left the curse that has robbed her people of their truth, Willa will meet deadly force with trusted alliance, violence with shelter, and an ever-changing world with a steady heartbeat of courage. So yeah, that's what that book is about. And something that I really like about this book is, like, I mentioned this in my last video with the Girl Who Drank the Moon book, is that it gives you stuff to talk about, and it gives you discussions. And that's what this book is. I think it's a perfect example of a book that you can read with your kid, and you can talk to them about people who are different from you and how you treat them. Because in this book, Willa is different from the day folk, and, you know, they kill what they don't understand. They think these people are different from us, so we must kill them. But then she runs into this family that is not like that, and they treat her with respect and love. And so I think this book is a great opportunity for parents who have younger kids to read with them and to discuss something like that. And you also get a fantasy world to go with it, so it can be fun and it can be educational. And if you're a single 26-year-old woman like me who has no kids, you can still read this and still find a lot of cool things. You can still find some, like, you can still learn things from this book, and that's what I absolutely loved about this. This is one of the reasons why I really love middle grade, is because you can learn simple truths that you learned growing up, or just like relearn it through a fantasy setting, and I really enjoyed that, or in a fictional setting. I just really enjoy middle grades for that reason, or one of the reasons is why I love middle grade. That is one. Anyway, I think I've talked too much. Anyway, so yeah, that's why I like this book, and I think a lot of people would too. Something about this book is that it does. It was a little harder for me to get into it because it's not dialogue heavy. A lot of middle grade books are dialogue heavy instead of like description heavy, but this book, I think it was like the first 50 pages was hardly any dialogue. It was just description after description, paragraph after paragraph after paragraph of no dialogue. And so I think that might be a little harder for people to get into the book. I know when I first read it, it was harder for me to get into the book because of that, but it still has beautiful writing, and I still think that even though there wasn't much dialogue, I think it worked for the story, and it ended up winning me over. So yeah, just to be aware, if you do read that, it is very paragraph and description heavy instead of dialogue heavy. Alright, and then the next book that I want to talk about is Alcatraz versus the Evil Librarians by Brandon Sanderson. So I don't have a copy of it myself, so I can't really read the synopsis on the back of it. But essentially what this series is about, it's about this boy named Alcatraz, and he lives with his foster family, and he always has this habit of breaking things. It's kind of like a curse, you would say. He's always breaking things, and he doesn't mean to, he just breaks things. And then one day this old man comes to him claiming to be his grandpa, and he's like, hey, these magical powers like run in our family, and your breaking of things isn't a curse, it's actually your magical power. Just like my magical power is always being late to things. And so he comes and tells Alcatraz this, and then also something has gone missing, and Alcatraz and his grandpa have to go and recover this missing item or this missing thing. I think it's a bag of sand, and they have to recover it from evil librarians who are a secret ruler of the world. And this series is a lot of fun. I would say that the funness level is on the same level as the Five Kingdoms. This series has a lot more slapstick humor than the Five Kingdoms series does, and I think this series is again, Alcatraz versus the Evil Librarians is so funny. I remember reading it when I was younger, and I absolutely died of laughter. I haven't read the whole series, so I don't know exactly what happens, within the world and like within the plot, but I just remember the first book was so funny. And I think compared with like other middle grade books that I've talked about, like Willa of the Wood, and how that is educational and you can like teach your kids about something, Alcatraz versus the Evil Librarians is more of an escape, and it's more of a series where you can just have fun, and kids need that, and you need that. And I think reading this series as an adult would be super fun, and it would be a very nice escape from like real world troubles, if you will. So yeah, I think this series is really fun, and I think a lot of people, especially if you're a fan of Sanderson, you would probably like this, but if you're not a fan of Sanderson's humor, then you might not like it. But I don't know. I think it's really fun, and I really, really enjoyed the humor in this series. So yeah. So the last book that I want to mention today is 13th Child by Patricia C. Reedy. I remember really, really enjoying this book when I was younger, when I read it the first time, and the only time that I read it. But I remember really enjoying it. It did take me a while to get into, but after I got into it, I just really enjoyed the plot and the characters and the magic system. And yeah, I really remember, I really, really liked it. I remember really liking it. And yeah, so I guess I will read you the synopsis now. So, what this book is about Unlucky 13. F was born a 13th child. Her twin brother, Lan, is the 7th son of a 7th son. This means he's supposed to possess amazing talent, and she's supposed to bring doom to everyone around her. Undeterred, her family moves to the frontier, where her father will be a professor of magic at a school perilously close to the magical divide that protects settlers from the beasts of the wilderness. F and Lan do not know what awaits them in such a place. There are steam dragons that hover in the sky and strange creatures that undermine the settlers' existence. F learns magic with the other students, but there's always the threat of something going terribly wrong. As F and Lan grow older, they face challenges they never could have dreamed of, and then their magic is put to the test in a standoff that will change their lives forever. Hi, editing Rachel here. So in the middle of filming this video, my battery died, and I didn't realize that it had stopped filming in the middle of sharing the synopsis, or after I filmed the synopsis of this, reading the synopsis of this, so it didn't capture any of my thoughts on the book. So here are my thoughts now. So when I read this book, I really, really enjoyed it. I like what the back says. It mentions that F was born as the 13th child, which is the unlucky child, but then her twin brother was born the 7th son of a 7th son, and that is lucky. So I really loved seeing the juxtaposition of the lucky child compared, or the juxtaposition of the lucky child to the unlucky child. And it was really cool to see that. It was cool. It was interesting to read about how others treated the 13th child and how those same people treated the 7th son of the 7th son. I remember really enjoying the plot of the story. I thought it was really fun and intriguing, and I remember really enjoying the characters, and especially F, and I thought the writing was beautiful too. I really enjoyed Patricia C. Reedy's writing style. It was very unique and it was fun. Man, I have said fun a lot in this video. But yes, anyway, so those are just minimal thoughts I have on this book. It was really fun. I just had a great time when I read it, and I know it's not very popular. I know Patricia Reedy has been around for a while, but I don't see a lot of her works being hyped, and I think that is wrong. I think there's a lot of authors out there that need a lot more hype, and I think Patricia C. Reedy is one of them, because I really, really enjoyed this book. And plus there's dragons. Who doesn't love dragons, right? Anyway, so those are my thoughts on 13th Child, and I think anybody would like it. I mean,
Yeah. I think a lot of people would like it, so I think you guys should read it too. All right.
Anyway, those are the recommendations that I have for you guys today. If you have read them, let me know. If you want to read them, also let me know. If you think they're cool, just comment down below. Anyway, I guess I will see you guys next time. All right, bye.